What's good? We back with the Box Clinic and more. Once again, it's your boy CJ Goodfella. One time for the one time. And we back. Shout out to the Lions Den boxing community. The LWBC. Shout out to YTBC and everybody in between. We keep it consistent. We're going to keep it a busy Sunday. And we're going to do what we does and talk this boxing-ish real quick. And, some rumors going out there. And Dan Rayfield is out there also saying that now it's really, really a strong possibility that this Triple G and Canelo 2 rematch fight gets scrapped. The fight may not happen now. And one of the things that's trending, to point towards that is, I think Fandango or whatever movie thing pushes that Canelo Alvarez fights in the movie theater has scrapped everything. They took everything down from their website promoting Triple G Canelo 2 at the movie theaters. They scrapped it, they threw it away, burnt it, they pulling out. So that's one major entity that's pulling out of the fight. And that's kind of not good news for people that want to see this rematch. And also, they saying that I wasn't aware of this, maybe I wasn't reading it right or interpreting it right, that Canelo failed 2 drug tests. And we talked about the 2 samples. It was the February 17th and 20th. I interpreted in the article, maybe because I wear glasses and never do wear them, that it said that on the 17th his test was negative and the contamination levels was so much higher than the 17th that's why they had to continue to research and keep doing tests on this situation before they can improve and let it go on. But they saying that he failed the test on the 17th and the 20th now. And the contamination levels for the failed test between the two were so much high. They were so much higher than the 17th test that now they got to do deeper investigation. And now it's sounding like this whole fight might get scrapped and put on the back burners for another day, or if they want to continue with it on. So Canelo Alvarez could be facing a long-term ban from boxing. And once Nevada bans you, pretty much that's like the mecca for boxing right now. That every other commission is not going to accept you. Now you have some commissions in the South that's not as strong. They may let Canelo fight there, but what sanctioning belt body is going to let this continue to go on is the question. And we know the WBA, the IBF, and the WBC, the WBA for sure today is coming out saying they very shocked and they know Canelo is innocent. I mean, if you haven't done an investigation, how are you so sure that he's innocent? All the signs are pointing to this motherfucker cheated. I hate to say it like that, but he cheated. And now, sponsors are getting the inside information that's happening. And now the Fandango movie people took all that shit down. And they not doing it no more. So it's a strong possibility now, that stronger than we believe, that we thought Canelo was going to get that G pass from the Nevada State Athletic Commission. Now Golovkin then put so much pressure on them, and the powers that be them put so much pressure on him. Us talking on YouTube, you casual fans, the hardcore, the purist fans, everybody's looking at this situation and see, is it going to be more unfair treatment towards Canelo Alvarez rather than Triple G? And it's the reason why Triple G spoke up, because that's not even his nature. Even the WBC president, Mauricio Suleiman Jr., said, wow, I wasn't expecting that from Triple G. And, pretty much Triple G is really pushed for them to do this investigation by his words. And now, if he really wanted that payday versus Canelo Alvarez, he can start kissing that goodbye right now. Because, whether Canelo gets suspended, if he gets suspended, it's word out there, according to Dan Rayfield, that Golovkin is going to continue to fight on May 5th. That's going to be his date, and they're going to look for a replacement. Will it be a pay-per-view? I doubt it, but I 100% don't know that. And now we're looking at a potential Danny Jacobs fight. Danny Jacobs may be the guy, that's been words going around, that can slide in there and fight Golovkin on May 5th. So it was a fight that Golovkin hadn't been looking for. You know what I'm saying? He didn't want to get back in there with Danny Jacobs, but that sounds like the most sense scenario, because he has a date April 28th, and versus Sullick, the guy who knocked out Hugo Centennial Jr., the guy who's actually ranked number 1 to Jermell Charlo WBC belt at 154. So, HBO could be looking for replacement for that main event, or they may even scrap that whole card if Canelo is found guilty. So, April 10th may be the day if he cleared or not cleared. Mark that date on your calendar. But if he's not cleared, Danny fights April 28th. You can look for that card to be scrapped or them have a replacement for Sullick in the main event. So I'm pretty sure they prepping some middleweight to come in there. And it's the middleweight that I have in mind, Demetrius Andrade. That'll be a good fight for him. So I know he has a deal in place to fight Sergey Zinchenko, and they shopping that around other networks. But he does have 2 more fights on the HBO contract. And if I'm HBO, I'm telling Andrade to keep ready. Prepare like you fighting Sullick. You're going to be the main event April 28th. And then a week later, Danny Jacobs can fight Triple G, May 5th, Las Vegas, the rematch. I'm pretty sure people are intrigued by that fight. I'm pretty sure Danny Jacobs won't say no to that fight. He wants that fight. That's the reason why they've been taking soft touches ever since that fight. Obviously, he needed to tune up versus Arias. Sullick, he can go on the back burner if that fight is presented to him. And that's what HBO wants Triple G to do. Then why not do it? And if Danny beats Triple G, he get all the belts. And then, he got that just much power over the division. And now, potentially, if Canelo's clean, he got to come back and run it with Danny Jacobs. Or Danny Jacobs has a mandatory Jamal Charlo. And that fight just gets that much bigger. So sometimes patience is a virtue and patience is smart. And Danny Jacobs can complete that. Now, if you're wondering about Billy Joe Saunders, I don't know. HBO has worked with Frank Warren before. I'm pretty sure Eddie Hearn is going to try to, use his power in Joshua to get Danny Jacobs in there. And that he should do. And say, if y'all go get Billy Joe Saunders and pass up on Danny Jacobs, I'm not bringing Anthony Joshua over to HBO. We going to just be a television network free agent in America, or we just going to continue to work with Showtime. And that's the leverage that Danny Jacobs has with Eddie Hearn over HBO. So he does have leverage. It is a strong possibility that he will be stepping in on May 5th, possibly because his fight is on track. Just a week earlier, that fight, they can replace. This is my hypothetical part right here with Andrade. They could put Andrade and tell him to get ready for Sullick. He been training in the gym. He's on IFL TV all the time doing interviews, so he in shape. And he can take on Sullick, and they can fight that fight. Miller can go on and fight his fight on the undercard, and they can keep it moving. And if they want to give Zinchenko a fight on that card, and he can fight Andrade after that for the IBF mandatory, they can do that because Zinchenko, if Danny, this is what fucks it up for Zinchenko. If Danny Jacobs beats Triple G, and they said that he really does step in May 5th for Triple G instead of Billy Joe Saunders if the Canelo fight and Triple G rematch is canceled, Zinchenko and Jacobs share the same the same trainer and coach, and Andre Rozier. So his mandatory goes down the drain right there, and he got to go for the WBO title with Billy Joe Saunders. So unless Jacobs gives up the IBF, unless Zinchenko fight Andrade for the IBF, and he don't have any ambitions on being the undisputed, then, Zinchenko's just going to have to wait. But at the end of the day, he only has 12 fights, so it shouldn't be no issue to wait. He can wait, let Danny Jacobs become undisputed, face his mandatory Jamal Charlo, or go head up for Billy Joe Saunders. Billy Joe Saunders say he want that fight. He become undisputed. He can drop all the belts or drop some belts and move up to 168 because he is a big 160-pounder. So it's bleak. And as much shit as we talked about Danny Jacobs, taking soft touches, back-to-back soft, tough touches, which I don't have an issue with the Luis Arias fight, and then taking another soft touch, that people think in the Sullick fight, who's an undefeated fighter who did knock out Hugo Centennial Jr., which is an easy fight. That patience and that great promoter and management moving him, may walk him into a Triple G rematch when he least expected, but his fight date is only a week later than that, so he can kind of adjust his camp a little bit more. He can walk into a bigger money fight and the fight that he really wants in the Triple G rematch, and he comes out of that, and Canelo gets cleared and get a couple fights in. He can wait for Canelo or become undisputed with Billy Joe Saunders and fight Charlo, fight Canelo, and then he's in the cockpit. He can do whatever he wants in this division. And it's funny how shit can change on the drop of a dime. Just that quick as you can snap your fingers, clap your hands, shit can change just like that. They was talking about Triple G and Canelo. Triple G, put pressure on Nevada State Athletic Commission, WBC, VADA, and WBA, IBF, and now it's a real possibility that this rematch doesn't happen. Even though Golovkin says, yeah, I want to fight him still because of the money, but if you wanted to fight him, you should have just shut the hell up and just let the process play. You put so much process on him there's so much pressure on them that people are starting to question the process and wanting Canelo spend it because they know Canelo really cheated. You know, if you was going to go ahead and fight him anyway, you should have shut up. And now you talked yourself out of a big payday for you. And now you're going to turn around and make peanuts compared to what you're going to make versus Canelo versus a step-in who could be Danny Jacobs, who you wasn't even trying to fight in the first place. So your mouth then wrote a check that your ass really don't want to cash. So you see how this shit work, y'all? You see how it works? Triple G really brought it upon himself to do this shit. They should have sent a translator or a PR person sit down with him and say, shut the hell up. Just say, yeah, I'm disappointed, but we'll see what happens and end the interview on that. But now you done talked yourself out of a 7, 8, maybe 8-figure payday with Canelo Alvarez, and now you're going to make barely a 7-figure payday fighting Danny Jacobs, who feels like he got your number and feels like he's on the up and up, and you on the downslope of your career being 36 years old, turning in April. And now you got a tougher fight for less money. And at the end of the day, he going to look at himself in this situation. If it goes the direction they talking about it's going, when they pulling Canelo and suspending him, he going to look at himself in the mirror and say, I fucked up. And he really did. You know, he could have made way more money. With the Jacobs fight, he might make $2 million, $3 million at the most. You know, because the first fight was such a good fight and they could sell it like that. You know, but I don't know if it's going to be pay-per-view. The last one was pay-per-view and they only did, 170,000 buys. I mean, the first fight was hella good. I was there. You know, so do it again. They could do it again in Las Vegas and they can put some promotion behind it. I mean, Eddie Hearn knows how to promote in the UK, but he can bring some of that flavor and pizzazz, some of that innovative UK promotion and kind of fuse it with some US promotions with Al Hammond and Danny Jacobs. They can sell this fight to be a big fight. Get HBO to do 24/7. Definitely with the Canelo Alvarez fallout, this can give this fight some more traction as well. But this is the scenario, and it's looking very, very serious that this fight with Triple G and Canelo 2 gets canceled. We got to wait till April 10th. But you can thank Triple G and Gennady Golovkin himself and his team letting them go out there and put pressure on the Nevada State Athletic Commission, thus putting pressure on those doctors to get it right. Because if it isn't done right, and they, you know, it comes out later on that Canelo really did cheat it, that hurts those doctors and everybody involved, third party, WBC doctor, WBA, IBF doctors, whatever the medical physicians they got coming testing them. If they miss this and they pass this kid and he really did get found cheating down the line, that hurts their reputation, and that's a black eye on them. So at this point, they got to make the right decision, because the wrong decision could hurt their pockets in the long run and hurt their careers, and people won't ask them for second and third opinions or outsourced organizations in other sports, MLS, Major League Soccer, the Premier League in the UK, soccer, tennis, basketball, football, whatever you want to say. That could hurt them getting opportunities, later on. Unless the money that's being given under the table, wink, wink, is enough to damage your reputation, you can live on and live a fruitful life without, without making a living. If that actually comes out that they did cheat for Canelo Alvarez and let him go, because that's what they was gonna do. That temporary suspension was bullshit. That they still can train to up to April 10th and to find out. And most people thought they was just going to clear this guy. And I thought they was. I'm like, man, fuck it. They going to clear him anyway. Golovkin said he want to fight him. But now they taking this shit dead ass serious. Sponsors are starting to question. I told you, I think Fandango pulled out about broadcasting this movie at the movie theaters. And now they looking at replacements. And Danny Jacobs is looking like a whole snack right now for HBO. They glad they signed him and got him in the fold, because he could be the savior of this whole card. Yup. He may be the savior, and they can call Demetrius Andrade and say, get ready. Get your arm fresh out the bullpen and get ready to fight Sullick on April 28th in Brooklyn Barclay. We'll pay you a little bit more for your inconvenience, and then try to tell him he can fight Shevchenko after that, or you can fight Danny Jacobs or whatever. You get your shot versus Billy Joe. We're going to take care of you for your last fight in the HBO deal, or offer him another extension with some money up front to keep him happy. But right now, Triple G has talked himself from, fighting a steroid offender who tested positive twice. I got to say that 2 times for the 2 time. Positive twice, the 17th and the 20th, okay? He talked his way out fighting a guy that probably was going to look like Lucas Brown come fight night, because he took the same clinical ball and another PED he took as well. Even though he was 40, that wasn't helping him no more. So obviously, when you get off a performance-enhancing drug, especially a steroid, which this wasn't, but a performance-enhancing drug, and your body needs that, your body withdraws and you become weaker. And that's why you see steroid builders look so much terrible. Well, bodybuilders that take steroids look terrible and so brittle and so small so quick, because those steroids, your body needs whatever that is. Now, it's dependent on it. And when it ain't dependent, it ain't there no more. Your body starts to deteriorate and eat the muscle and eat the fat just to try to find that substance that you was putting in your body. So, Triple G, that wasn't smart, bro. You open your mouth out of anger and frustration saying that you knew this dude was dirty. You talking about the hand wraps. You see the injection points in the stomach and all this stuff. If you wanted that fight and that payday so bad, you would have shut the fuck up. I guess he didn't want it that bad. And now he might have to deal with Danny Jacobs too to satisfy his thirst on May 5th. So May 5th, if Canelo is suspended, it's being rumored and reported right now that this fight will go on, and Danny Jacobs may slide from that April 28th slot to May 5th to see Gennady Golovkin again. Is it pay-per-view? Shit, I don't know. The first one didn't do that good. I think it did 170K, but it was Electric Atmosphere. So, they was talking about a Golovkin-Canelo 2 replay May 5th. The reason why Lomachenko, or May 12th, the reason that Lomachenko and Linares was going to have an early start date in New York at 8 o'clock. Now they can start that fight as light as they want to now, because, or they could possibly, because this fight can be canceled altogether and it won't be a replay May 12th. It would be a replay of Triple G and Jacobs if he goes to pay-per-view, but it won't be a replay of Canelo and Triple G, because Canelo looked like he may get suspended. A lot of people talking about this, that he might come down with the hammer, and his full investigation might expose him, and I wonder how